Today we're making the greatest thing in Britain since 1769. Crumpets.
Thank you very much.
We start with the liquids, milk. I like good old-fashioned cooking values, but by all means use whichever you want. I hear chicken's milk is quite popular in the vegan community. Water, anything clean and drinkable. Yeast, dry active yeast, or sub it with twice the amount of fresh yeast. Tiny bit of sugar, then give it a little stir to combine and let it sit at room temp for 10 minutes. In a large bowl, add plain all-purpose flour. Gluten-free and whatnot won't work. If you do have a gluten-free recipe, then stick it down in the comments for your fellow viewers. It's what nice people do. A little bit of salt. Finally, baking powder. Not baking soda, but baking powder. It's important. Give it all a whisking to combine. Quick little tip, you always want to separately combine dry or wet ingredients into homogeneous, evenly distributed mixes before adding them together. Otherwise, tears will follow. Next we add the yeasty mix to the flour mix. Bit by bit, not all at once, until all the liquid is fully incorporated. Another thing that makes crumpets different is that you need to vigorously whisk the batter. We want to develop some gluten, so beat that violently for at least 5 minutes or until your arm falls off. The mix should not be too thick nor too thin. Scrape the sides down with a spatula to make sure you don't end up with dry bits around the edges. Cover with a plate or whatever you want and set aside for 45 minutes at room temp. During this time the mix will rise to about double its volume. Before we bake it, we need to degas it a little. Do this gently by stirring it sensually, instead of taking your hate out on it. We're looking for a nice airy mix without any irregularly large bubbles. Next, you heat a large non-stick pan preferably, while prepping the crumpet rings. Yes, there's such a thing as crumpet rings. They look like this. You also get silicone versions. These are 8.5 cm in diameter by 2.5 cm in height. Link in description if you need them. You want to lube these up nicely with melted butter, or if you don't like your arteries, cooking spray. Anyway, your life, once nicely lubed up, you get them into the hot pan. The trick to getting the perfect holes is to start off on high heat, then gradually lower the heat while it cooks. Each mold gets filled about 1/3. Don't overfill it. Underfill is okay, but too much will cause tantrums, leading to high blood pressure and eventually inevitable death. So, just fill them like I'm doing here and all will be goody. They will start to rise in the molds almost immediately. After 30 seconds on high, you turn the flame down to medium. After 2 minutes, you turn the flame or induction or whatever you're cooking it on to a minimum. You will see some bubbles appearing at the top. They will start popping, and that's the magic of crumpets. Be patient, and if there's any bubbles that need a hand, then just pop them with a toothpick. Once the tops are set and the dough is fully cooked, it has to be fully cooked, you flip them over to get a tan on the front side. The bottoms should be beautifully brown and crispy. Carefully remove the rings and marvel at the perfection you just created. Cool them down on a wire rack before sinfully slathering with butter, honey and a touch of flaky salt. Now go have a good life.